whether it's with our team, whether it's with our clients, because I think if you know someone and then you trust someone, you know that whatever you do or whatever you need from them, they've got your back.
So welcome to another edition of Paperspace Asia's podcast. I'm with Karen Calalec, who's Chief Operating Officer for Paperspace Asia. So Karen, welcome.
Thank you.
So what I want to do today is kind of break up the conversation into two. So maybe you could give us a bit of an idea of, start off with your education, what you studied in, and take us through life, the journeys, the travels, and everything up until Paperspace Asia came into being. Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. I'm born and raised here in the Philippines. And I went to University of Santo Tomas, the oldest Catholic university in the Philippines. And majored in interior design under the Bachelor of Fine Arts course. So I thought that since young, that's really my interest, designing, arts. And my kid always says, oh, because it's got no math.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. So anyway, it's always a funny anecdote, right? She's taking up architecture right now. So I think after that, of course, after the 4-year course, we have a board exam for interior design here in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I took it after 2 years of practicing. And, as soon as I passed it, I was offered a job in Singapore. So I was hired actually from here when I
So
was
literally
still
out of school.
2 years after.
Okay.
I got some experience
Okay.
from a lot of different projects here. I was quite blessed to have a lot of contacts. And so, but I think I hit a rough spot at that time because, it's so hard being an entrepreneur when you're right out of school. And I was thinking, so I really, really need a break. At first, I said I wanted to study at Parsons in the US. And then so, I used that as an excuse to, get out of the country. Yeah, so anyway, I got hired. So I had a house, a job, everything ready when I went to Singapore. I just turned 24 then. No, I was hired when I was 23. Then I said, can I can you wait a little bit? Let me celebrate my birthday and then leave because I wouldn't know how long would it be until I can come back. But yeah, so it was a huge step for me to just leave everything behind, your friends, family, and then go and pursue your career, right? So in the end, I just enjoyed working and didn't go to school because it's way, way, way too expensive for me at that time, and then just continued working. So I think if not for friends in Singapore and Malaysia, I wouldn't have stayed because guess what? I stayed for 18 years.
Whoa.
So
That's a long time.
I know. So so I literally grew up there, right? 18 years, became a PR, met my ex-husband, had my kids, and went on to different companies, interior design companies. It's not just interior design actually. I also have had experience with managing an art gallery.
Whoa. Okay.
It's called
That's
Art
different.
Domain. Yes, because I was doing, this, when you have a condo and then they do the show flats, show units. So I did those so that it will be their opening and then they can see the show flats and then they'll buy. Right? So at one point I was doing that, and then I did art consultancy for the same company, and then we had projects in Malaysia, in Australia, Indonesia, you know, all over, and basically like curating the artwork for their hotels and stuff, and it's really really interesting. So when I was managing that, you know, I was because like interior design has so many facets that you can go to, and you know, I think that was my way of trying to find out, you know, what's really my passion.
Okay.
And you know, funnily enough, I didn't know anything about project management, and when I saw this opportunity because my that company was in the same building, you know, as this like you know interviewing company, and I I just but the problem was he was a friend. He was a friend before, and then I said I don't know if this is a good idea to like go and see if I can work for him or with him in the company. And then he goes, come on, you know, I'll interview you, and then let's see how it goes, right? And then I said, I don't have any experience in workplace, and you know, and this is like project management role. So how do I fit in? I'm okay, you know, I'm okay to just go in as a junior and like learn the ropes and stuff. And then he goes, uh, okay, you can just try, and then let's see how it goes. I was hired as a project manager, and um, soon after, senior project manager in 3 months. In another 3 months, I was a project director.
So when you say office space, you mean
Workplace.
workplace? You mean office?
Yes,
Okay.
it's commercial. So, because remember, I came from retail. I have experience in retail. I have experience in residential. I have experience in hotels. And then, so it's my first crack at workplace
Okay.
design.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's where I started my project management and continued from there. So that's really that has been my you know my core strength. Yeah, ever since.
For those who may not be experts in project management expertise, give me the 2-minute summary of the role of a PM. What does a
Yeah.
PM do?
So a project manager would basically ensure that a project meets the deadline, which is so it's time. Um, make sure that it's delivered in good quality, and of course within budget.
Okay.
So it's basically monitoring and ensuring that these three are met.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's design, then it's design management,
Yep.
but it still needs to meet those criteria.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many years before? So you took that on. How many years did you do that for before there was the move to Paperspace? Can you tell us a little bit about that transition, how that came about,
Okay.
and then the transition over?
Yeah. So that 18 years was until 2012, and I came back to the Philippines in 2013.
Okay.
So that's 11 years ago. So it's basically the thing about this transition was that it's a personal, you know, it's a personal decision, and you know we all decided as a family to move, and my kids are also here. So, you know, the idea was that I continue whatever I was doing, and I was also quite blessed that my clients from Singapore and Malaysia supported me even when I came back to the Philippines.
Okay.
So I actually continued my client base and helped them with their project management and interior design requirements,
Okay.
even when I was here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was only able to do that for about 3 years. And then 2016, Sombat called me up and asked me,
Now, Sombat, do you want to explain who
oh,
Sombat
sorry,
is?
Sombat is actually our founder for Paperspace. And it's his brainchild to have, you know, it's his idea to have this small companies to get together, and then we can then get the best people to join a project,
Okay.
and then we can fight, or we can bid against the big boys,
Okay.
right? And because of our level of expertise, and all of us we're actually from Singapore, we know, because we were ex-colleagues, so we know our strengths.
So you all
You know,
knew each
and-
other back in Singapore.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we know our capabilities. So I think from there, it was quite good that we had this opportunity to get together again,
Okay.
and then see what is it all about. But I think more than that, right? What how he got me was that this tagline. Paperspace is all about doing what you love with the people you trust.
Oh, I've never heard that. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and it's really good for us to share that all the time, whether it's with our team, whether it's with our clients, because I think if you know someone and then you trust someone, you know that whatever you do or whatever you need from them, they've got your back,
Okay.
right? And I think it's not about the money, it's not about the future plans, or it's not about, okay, I don't have anything else to do, this is what I want to do. It's not like that. It's actually because we trust each other, and that's the reason why I said yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the same way goes that, I have very close friends that I've met throughout my lifetime, that they trusted me enough to join me and become my partners. So, it is really amazing how we actually got together.
So around 2016, a guy in Thailand contacts you,
After
right,
how many years?
who you
Yeah.
knew in Singapore,
Yeah.
and says, we've got this kind of disparate conglomerate of people,
Of idea. It's an idea at that
Okay.
time. Yeah.
and let's all work together.
Yes.
And okay. Up until that stage, you were doing project management.
Yep.
This group now gets together. Did you continue on with project management at that point?
At that point, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How long did you do that for?
No, it's already I was asked to let go of my company
Okay.
here and concentrate on being the co-founder of Paperspace Philippines.
Okay.
At that time, Joel was just coming back from Singapore. He wasn't here yet.
You want to tell us
So-
who Joel is?
Yeah, so Joel is actually one of my partners for paperwork and Paperspace Philippines. And he is currently the country director for Paperspace Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, we also worked together in the same company in Singapore, and he is more than that. He's a friend, and I'm the godmother of his son. So, we've been very good friends for so long,
Okay.
it's in Singapore. So we actually planned, even before the call from Sombat, we planned to be partners,
Okay.
for this. But then this call came along, so we talked, and then it's like, so if you're okay, you're up to it, then let's continue. But instead of having our own, let's continue with Paperspace instead. Yeah.
So now you're Chief Operating Officer
Yeah. Regional. Yeah.
across the region,
Yeah.
multiple countries. Tell me about that. And I think maybe start off maybe a little bit basically. I'd be really interested, tell me about the differences between being a PM and then moving into a COO role.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the reason why I got the role is actually because I'm a PM.
Okay.
So it's very operational. And so project management, as you know, is taking care of these three qualities. And I think when I became COO, I wasn't really aware, right? First, I'm a designer. Then I became a PM, and then now a COO. So what does that do? What does that role entails? And I think that's quite key in my transition period. So when I started to research about it, I know that it's all about taking care of the day to day, making sure that our systems and processes are in place. There are standards, and things like that. But then, as a country director for a few years for the Philippines, and I think this is how I was taught by my mom, who was also a business person, was that the people comes first, right? If you don't take care of your people, then who will take care of business? You can't. You will always be a one man show if it's just you. So I think I have sort of like narrowed it down to three important like pillars for operations. It's taking care of the team, it's taking care of the systems and the processes, um, and it's taking care of the company in general, right?
Okay.
The organization. So I think in a way, it's not just center to what the company is all about, and then the rest goes behind the scenes. I
Yep.
think it all goes hand in hand, in making sure that our output is of a high standard. And I think we have a lot of initiatives that supports that.
Your role spans multiple countries. You're based here in the Philippines.
Okay. Uh, so since 2024, since beginning of 2024 until now, I have been going back and forth to Singapore and Philippines to help take care of the Singapore operations.
Do you ever feel that your loyalties are torn? Between countries and locales and
No, because I grew up in Singapore, and I grew up here in the Philippines. So it's not at all. I don't feel that at all. I love that the teams like it in all countries. I think as one of the co-founders, it's important for me to be as objective about everyone and everything as much as I can. But I can't help it, of course, because this Philippines is where I started, and the team that I've helped grow is here. But now being exposed to Singapore, I think that changed a little bit, and I also wish that I have that opportunity for Thailand, and we don't know yet. But I think it's a matter of if I didn't do this, then my understanding of the operations region wide will be so limited, right? Because I only am exposed to the Philippines operations.
so kind of as an education for me, and I guess hopefully for people listening, how do you how do you go about getting that buy-in? You're dealing with different people, different locations, different cultures, different backgrounds, and yet you need to get buy-in on a particular project from this diverse array of people. I know there's no such thing as a magic sauce, but how do you go about doing that?
So it's key to have to have this open communication all the time. And I think what's inherent in Paperspace is that we do practice transparency. So if there's any like information or any directive that I get from Narita, I try to immediately translate that, so that I can get everyone who needs to be involved informed. So sorry, I stopped at the three countries, country directors, right? But actually, I also work very closely with our HR
Wow.
and also
Okay.
our finance. So with finance, because we need to track our cash flow, our profit, our P&L, profit and loss, And for HR, of course, because we need to take care of our team members, we need to make sure that we have the right people for the right role. So it's a constant collaboration, it's a constant communication with each other, so that we can keep, this very tight running ship going.
Can you do it in 8 hours a day?
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, and the reason for that is because, I have delegated. I
Okay.
have delegated,
Okay.
and I think if you take me away from the situation, certain people will step up, and then they'll be able to do the work
Okay.
as well. So I think that's quite important.
So I've got two last questions to ask. First one, what's the most satisfying part about being a COO?
Okay, so I've only been in this role for a bit, less than a couple of years. Because the first year I consider it as a transition, and the second year is implementation. So I'm still very new at it, but the greatest satisfaction, I think, is when I can see that that everything falls into place. Because your planning is one thing, the execution is one thing, implementation is one thing. So it's like, if it's very true that you may have your own ideas, but if you don't have the people to execute them, it's nothing,
Okay.
you know. So I think it's because we do have a very good team, and that's why we are able to deliver amazing projects. It's because we are able to differentiate ourselves from the others,
Okay.
and I just hope that everyone in all of our teams in all countries, they see that, they
Okay.
see how important they are in the company, and without them, we won't be able to do it.
Okay. So my last question, there might be someone out there in the internet land, the internet world, designer, just starting out, likes what they're doing, probably thinking, I don't really want to do this for the rest of my life. I really like this story, right? So what's your advice to them? They're sitting there, they're designing, they've been doing it for a couple of years. They really like it. This is something I should aim for. What do they do?
I think having a project management background um, is has worked well for me, because of a lot of, there are a lot of aspects of the job as part of your role, as part of your KPI. You need to be really organized. You need to know your goal. How are you going to get there? What are the risks? How do you mitigate? And then how do you deliver? So, like, I consider our initiatives in Paperspace as like mini projects, and that's how I rally the troop. If you have a clear goal, and then you have a deadline, and each member knows what's their roles and responsibilities, then it's quite clear. So if you're not a good um, project manager in the first place, then it's very tough to get onto a bigger role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's worked well for me, and that's why I was chosen.
Well, it's a good thing. So it's aiming for that, PM role first,
Yeah,
getting
and
that exposure.
yeah, and I think all designers would have that. Most designers would have that background, because you face the client, you face the vendors, you face the subcontractors. Sometimes some of them do quotations and costing, so you have a bit of financial background. So being a project manager is having like a mini company, because you need to take care of your profit, you need to take care of your team, you need to take care of your client and deliver the project well. Yeah.
I'll do one more. That was supposed to be my last one, but I actually, whenever I say I've got a last one, I've always got one more. I mean, I've always admired COOs or especially project managers, because from my perspective, I find it so difficult to imagine how you can juggle all these balls. How do you relax? I mean, it's got to be stressful, right? I mean, I can't see how someone can sit back and go, no problems. How do you, at the end of the day, again, for those who are looking forward to it, how do you chill?
So before I get there, right, I have a trick for everyone. First of all, you need to get rid of the stress, the source of stress. And I've learned this when I was 30. Yeah. So first of all, get rid of the source of stress. You have to pinpoint what it is. And for me, I learned about it because I was handling this project, this one whole building in Singapore. And I was coordinating with the CEO and their internal PM. And all of a sudden, there's this regional manager who came out of nowhere and being a precious, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I couldn't answer my phone because I was, doing something at night. It was at night, and he was demanding that, why didn't you answer my call? And it's like this, I need this and da. So I sat the next day, I sat the CEO and the internal project manager down, and I said, can I just ask you, is this person now a stakeholder in this project? Because either he stays or I go, or I stay and he goes. And that was really gutsy of me to do, because I just that instance made me think that I'm not being paid enough to take that, from anyone.
Yep.
And I said, this is a great source of stress for me, but it's not really worth it. And I said, and from there on in, that's how I manage it.
Okay.
I make sure that I know where the stress comes from,
Okay.
and then get to the root of it and really just ask, is it really necessary? Why is this happening? Because there shouldn't be any issue or any concern. We as a team, right? Not just the client, not just me as a project manager, not just my company, but all of us as a team need to manage ourselves well, our stakeholders well, so that we can still meet our goals without the unnecessary stress. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So,
Karen, I just want to say thank you. I mean, it's been great. I've actually learned a lot,
thank you.
especially on the stress side. So I just want to officially say thank you to Karen Calalec, who's COO of Paperspace Asia. Thank you for listening, and we'll see everybody on our next podcast in the next few weeks. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.